here at GCW, March 9th, 1998. Fuel number 160. We're opening the show with The Rock. Cutting a promo, and out comes Jesse Ventura. Tonight we're getting a 3-on-3 tag match in the main event. It's going to be The Rock teaming with Bubba and Devon, the Dudley Boys, versus Triple H, Ron Simmons, and Bradshaw. 98. Goldberg opens the show, gets a win over the Real Luchador with the Jackhammer. It's a 43. The Impact Players, the tag team champions, get a promo, and out comes Al Snow and D'Lo Brown, Al Low, and they want to be next in line for the tag titles. Tonight, D'Lo Brown faces off against Just Incredible. 47. Disco Inferno, Detective Disco, and Sherlock Wright are backstage, and they find Dude Love. And Dude Love is looking, Detective Disco and Sherlock Wright are looking for Mankind, and Dude Love's, he knows where Mankind is, so he tells Disco and Wright where to find him, and they will find him next week. 56. Juventud Guerrero gets a win over Hector Garza. This is our high spots match, and it did pretty good. Gets an 80. We're backstage, Triple H, Bradshaw, Ron Simmons, and we find out that Jesse Ventura has paid off the APA to protect Triple H and the world title until March Massacre, and this gets a 70. Booker T and DDP cut a promo. Out comes Bobby Duncombe Jr. Duncombe versus Booker T will happen at March Massacre. 67. D'Lo Brown gets the win over Just Incredible by disqualification. 66. Afterwards, we get a beatdown. The Impact Players beating down Al Snow and D'Lo Brown. Rey Mysterio cuts a promo. Out comes Eddie Guerrero, and then Dean Malenko comes out as well. Dean versus Eddie will happen at March Massacre. They're finally going to settle their differences in the ring. Owen Hart cuts a promo. Out comes Raven. The Intercontinental Championship is on the line this Sunday as well. 53. We get our main event. The Rock and the Dudleys get the win over Triple H and the APA. An 81 right here. And we get an 85. Not too bad. Popularity goes up in Mexico and in some places, some regions in Europe. A pretty good episode of Fuel right there in 85. We're not going to complain too much about that. And then we still got an episode of Ignition, and then we've got March Massacre itself. So I'll be right back in just one moment with Ignition. By the way, while I'm here, I'm sorry about this episode coming out so late in the day. It is because I was working late tonight, and I just got around to it right now. So I'll be right back with Ignition in just one moment. We're here on Ignition number 28. We're starting off with Billy Gunn, Chris Benoit, Ken Shamrock, and Taz cutting a promo. This is a fatal four-way happening at March Massacre, and it will be for the United States Championship. Tonight as well, Billy Gunn versus Ken Shamrock versus Taz will happen, and Chris Benoit will be on commentary. 62. Hardy Boys versus The Brood is happening, and the Hardy Boys get the win after a disqualification. Afterwards, we get a little bit of a beat down by the hand of The Brood. Chris Candido cuts promo. Out comes Val Venus. This match will also happen on pay-per-view. Candido versus Venus. 48. Shane Douglas and Canyon defeat the Black Belt Dojo Fight Club when Shane Douglas pins Steve Blackman with a pile driver, and this gets a 74. Michael Cole interviews the Big Show backstage on Steve Austin and Dustin Rhodes. 81. Canyon and Shane Douglas are backstage. They got the win. They're hugging, and they're officially best friends. Douglas and Canyon are best friends forever. 79. Too Cool get a win over X-Pac and Road Dogg. This is a triple threat happening at March Massacre. It's going to be Too Cool versus X-Pac and Road Dogg versus The Undertaker and Kane for the World Tag Team Championships. Brian Pillman cuts a promo. He's talking about how he loves GCW, and eventually he says something, and the crowd starts to boo him, and he's serious for like a little beat, and then he catches himself, and he goes right back to smiling. So it gets an 80. And then main event, Ken Shamrock gets the win, submits Taz with the ankle lock, and we get a 73 for this. And to end our show, we got Steve Austin versus Dustin Rhodes in a promo. J.J. Dillon comes out and announces their match on pay-per-view. Not only is it for the GCW Championship, but it will have a special guest referee, and it will be The Big Show. It's only fair considering Dustin got to referee Steve Austin versus Big Show, and Austin got to referee Dustin versus Big Show. 81, not too bad. We'll take it. And Canada goes up. That's great. All right. That was Ignition. We'll be right back in just one moment with one of our Big Four pay-per-views in March Massacre. All right, we're here in New England for March Massacre 1998. We're opening the show with commentary, Jim Ross, Kenta Kobashi, and Mauro Ranallo running down the card. Let's get into it. Owen Hart versus Raven is our opening contest, and Owen Hart gets the win with the sharpshooter, beats Raven, and retains the Intercontinental Championship. Makes events number 6. And 84 right here, good match. Chris Candido versus Val Venus is up next. Chris Candido defeats Val Venus using the ropes for leverage. They have great chemistry, which is good to see. And a 76, a pretty good match right here. Better than I expected. This was also better than I expected. Booker T gets the win over Bobby Duncum Jr., sneaking a roll-up and getting the win. Afterwards, Bobby Duncum Jr. ties Booker T in the ropes, in the view of the hard cam, and takes off his belt and whips Booker T in the back non-stop for 7 minutes until referees and security finally come down and take out Bobby Duncum Jr. off of Booker T. Tag titles are on the line. Too Cool versus Kane and The Undertaker versus Road Dogg and X-Pac. And Road Dogg and X-Pac are the new World Tag Team Champions after, this says elimination, but this wasn't an elimination match. Just Road Dogg rolls up Grandmaster Sexay or something, and they win the tag titles. Undertaker pulls 100, and Kane pulls a 98 in this match. Fantastic. An 80 right here. Sting versus Chris Jericho is up next, and Chris Jericho defeats Sting using the ropes for leverage in 88. Dustin Rhodes versus Big Show for the world title, or the GCW title. Or Dustin Rhodes versus Steve Austin, my bad. And Big Show as special guest referee. They're having a back and forth, whatever. Austin stuns the Big Show, gets him down, then stuns Dustin, goes for the cover. Jack Doan runs down, 1, 2, 3, and Austin retains the title. And afterwards, Big Show chokeslams Dustin. I didn't set the angle, I forgot. Big Show chokeslams Dustin, chokeslams Austin, and takes the GCW title for himself. So Big Show now has custody of the GCW Championship. A 96. Fatal 4-way for the United States Championship. Billy Gunn versus Chris Benoit versus Taz versus Ken Shamrock. And Billy Gunn pins Taz with the Faymaster, and Billy Gunn is the new United States Champion. Chris Benoit's reign ends at 203 days. And 86. Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko settled their differences, and Eddie defeats Dean in 20 minutes with the Frog Splash. And to end our show, the GCW, or not the GCW, just the World Heavyweight Championship, that's the name of the title, is up for grabs. Triple H versus The Rock, and The Rock gets the win with the People's Elbow after a lot of interference in this match. Bradshaw, Ron Simmons, Tyrell, and Jesse all attacking The Rock, and Bubba and Devon evening the scores for The Rock. And this gets a 99, and we end the show with The Rock, once again, World Heavyweight Champion. Triple H, Undertaker, and Kane. $10 million. Perfect. Popular in the U.S. goes to 92 in most regions. Mexico goes up, Japan goes up, British Isles go up, and Europe goes up. And we're not doing a media scrum. Fantastic, fantastic pay-per-view for March Massacre. We could have fit 30,000 people into the arena. However, the generic venues in New England only go up to 15,000, and it was New England's turn to have a pay-per-view. So, Brian Blair is in Rival Pro now. All right. Pretty good show. We're happy with that. And let's look at our titles. So GCW champion still Steve Austin in 85 days. Cruiserweight champion still Rey Mysterio at 85 days as well. Same thing for Owen Hart. Lance Storm and Justin Credible are the tag team champions at 29 days. Billy Gunn is the new United States champion at just 1 day, just beat out Chris Benoit. World Tag Team Champions Road Dogg and X-Pac. And The Rock is the World Heavyweight Champion. Triple H's reign ends in just 28 days. do not worry, he will get the title back very soon. That's where we end off today's episode. Our next pay-per-view will be Last Man Standing 1998. So thank you guys for watching this episode of GCW. Make sure to like if you like this video, subscribe if you want more. We'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, and goodbye.